way they gather and process information, and it is all about perception, as you can see this. So every style has merits and shortcomings, and uh, when you think of rationality, it is your left brain that is working. I hope you know already, you must be knowing that left brain is all logic and right brain is all emotion. Your emotional, uh, the seat of your emotions is on the right side of your brain. You have the limbic system. So that is why all the artists are right brained more, right? They're right brained. And when you look at finance people, they have their logical brain or the left brain working better than the right brain. It's not that people are deranged. It's just that one side of your one hemisphere is more, I would say, active, or it is more functional than the other. Yes, Rakesh, anything before I
No, madam.
start
It's
with the
clear.
next
Clear,
model?
madam. Clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is very interesting, this one, and it is Edward de Bono's six thinking hats in management. It is all about lateral thinking and decision making. Lateral thinking is creative thinking, it is design thinking. We are talking about lateral thinking again and again these days because even after COVID, a lot of innovation is required, and we have a lot of eye opening has happened after COVID-19. So, the design thinking part of it is again, we are supposed to, not uh, tread on the beaten path. We are supposed to look at something new and develop something new. And we also have more problems now. Day by day the problems. On the one hand, we have technology advancements in technology, and on the other hand, there are parallel problems that are coming up. When you look at artificial intelligence, for example, we are talking about it, but then there are people who are skeptics who say that this is not going to happen. You see, of late, the person, you must have seen this in news also, the person who actually was very much, experimenting with artificial intelligence, he has said that I have made a mistake, you know, that he says that it is possible that robos will start developing robos. Then what will happen? So the exact news you can just Google up and see. So, so what I'm trying to say is that innovation is all right, but then again, deciding to innovate something, what to innovate and what not to innovate is another problem which has to be taken care of. So, according to Edward de Bono, this I have applied in my own life as well, everyday decisions also. He talks about six imaginary hats. You see, he says that when you start to make a decision, when you are in a group, you wear one hat at a time. For example, now there is a white hat, there is a red hat, there is a black hat, a yellow hat, a green hat, and a blue hat. So he says that the main idea is to have the group wear one hat at a time when considering a problem. And the wearing of the hat is metaphorical, actually. It is an imaginary hat. So, white hat is essentially about gathering information about anything. You look at the information that you have, you analyze the past trends, and you see what can be learned from it. So, white hat is the thinking hat, and it focuses on the available data. For example, if you have to make a recruitment decision, for instance, that is where you wear a white hat first, and then you move ahead. We have little time, so I'm going quickly. We'll discuss also later. So then there is this red hat, which is about your gut reaction. You start to think that if I take this decision, how are others going to react to this emotionally? This is the second hat that you wear. Sometimes you may vary the sequence, but this is how it is. And like for example, it is basically that you look at the problems using your intuition and your gut feeling. You have gathered facts, but then your gut feeling says that, well, it is not going to, it is no point moving forward. So you will quit that particular choice that you have made. So, for example, you have this example of Southwest Airlines CEO Herb Kelleher. Actually, these are the people. When you look at Jet Airways, also Naresh Goyal, you know, one person may be wearing a certain hat more often. So these were the people who would wear the red hat more often. They would be bothered about how the decision would be, what would be the reaction of the action that they are taking, and how are the employees going to take it, or how is the management going to take it. The next is the black hat, which is about, you look at the decisions potentially negative outcomes, that what if I take the decision, what is the negative that is going to come? There are people who are wearing this hat more often. You start to talk to them and they'll immediately start thinking about what is negative. But according to Edward de Bono, the the procedure should start with the white hat, then the red hat, then the black hat. And for example, Shikha Sharma had this tendency. Then your transfers and promotions and your severance packages, it's all about wearing a black hat and trying to look at things. And that is it true? Will it work? What are the weaknesses over here? What is wrong with it? All of this. Then there is the yellow hat. Yellow hat is about, it's an optimistic viewpoint. It is that you look at your decision, you look at the benefits of that decision, and it is basically sunshine. For example, banning of Chinese apps, how it would be helpful for Indian entrepreneurs. So this is the next hat. And then green hat is about creativity. It represents creativity. This is where you develop creative solutions. It is a freewheeling way of thinking in which there is little criticism of ideas. So the brainstorming phase, of course, starts when you're wearing a green hat. So example of Bhavish Agarwal and example of the Padman, you all know about Arunachalam Muruga Nantham, right? So he is the inventor of a low-cost sanitary pad making machine. So this is all because you're wearing a green hat and then you're looking at things, you're going out of the box and thinking. Then the blue hat is a unique hat. It is about the process per se. Actually, you are wearing this hat at all points. You are actually monitoring your your thought process, that am I thinking in the right direction? So this is the hat which represents process control. It's the hat worn by people chairing meetings, for example, when facing difficulties because ideas are running dry. They may direct activity into green hat thinking also. Sometimes when you are thinking about uh, arriving at a solution, there is a likely possibility that the group may be deviating from the point, and then if somebody is wearing a blue hat, or if the entire group is wearing a blue hat simultaneously, they will be able to put the process on track, basically. This is very typical of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, for example. What is happening in the cricket match? He never made hasty decisions on the future of senior players. So this is one example. It's a good example that wearing this process hat is what is going to keep you on track. Like, for example, what have we done so far? If you're wearing a blue hat, you will say that. What do we do next? What decision have we reached? So this is what the blue hat tells you. So it's a unique hat, and it is different from the other hats because it is involved with directing the thinking process itself. So we are actually using the blue hat whenever we suggest the next hat to be used. So the blue hat need not be acknowledged at every turn. However, there are some points which it is often helpful, where it is often helpful. So it is actually the invisible, unique blue hat that you're wearing. At the outset of a decision, let's decide what we want to think about and which hats we will use. At a midpoint, to restate the thinking goal, I think we are getting away from what we wanted to talk about. Can someone recall what we decided to talk about? Third, at the end, to summarize what thinking has been done. So what to do, what we are doing, and what we have already done. So think of a sentence that tells about what we have been doing today. So this is the blue hat, which is about thinking itself. There are sequences also. You can, for example, you can use a red and white. First of all, you look at how the passionate side to it, the emotional side to it, and then you start to look at, you gather the facts. Or you can use black, yellow, green. You will compare it's about comparing and synthesizing, coming up with new ideas from the known ideas. White and blue, what do we know already? That is the facts. And where are we going? That is planning. So these are the sequences that are there. And if you look at the last slide, the white hat is objective hat. You're looking at the facts. The red hat is intuitive. The black hat is negative. It is important to look at the negative side of the decision that you're trying to make. And then the yellow hat is positive, the green is creative, and the blue hat is the process hat. So this is about it for today, and there are some benefits. If you use it in everyday life, your decision will be a good decision, a better decision. This particular model can be used. It is very simple to learn. You can keep wearing those imaginary hats and look at things. It is not dependent on others. It empowers you also because you think that you're going on the right track. And it improves cross cultural interaction as well, because you see, as I told you, cultural nuances are there. And when you have one particular model, then everybody will follow that model, and that cultural side of it will somehow, not, the bias will not be there. However, you will have diverse viewpoints from different cultures. Reduces conflict, it encourages cooperation, it enhances quality of thinking, and it supports other change initiatives also. And this is all for the day, and I would invite a question if there is any. Anyone?
No question from